Democrats. Today is Monday, May 15th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Monday. Well, if it's Monday, it's time to talk about mass shootings. So over the weekend, and I'm just counting Saturday and Sunday, I'm not counting Friday. Over the weekend, between Saturday and Sunday, in the United States, there were 10 reported mass shootings. And I'm defining mass shootings are shootings where there were 4 or more victims, not including the shooter. So there were 10. There were 4 on Sunday and 6 on Saturday. There were 41 people shot, 6 people died in a mass shooting situation in the United States. That's not including the one-off shootings that happened in Oklahoma over the weekend. It's not including, just gun violence where guns were discharged. It's just shootings where there were 4 or more victims, include the shooter. In the United States, there were 10 this weekend. 10. I'm going to keep talking about it only because I don't want us to get desensitized. I don't want us to forget that it's a thing and move on like it is not. Much like what's happening down in McCurtain County. Hold on a second. Much like what's happening in McCurtain County, Oklahoma, where the sheriff, a county officer, and one other official were caught on tape lamenting the fact that they can no longer lynch folks, bragging about having dug holes for people and make them disappear, and laughing at fire deaths of other citizens of McCurtain County. We have to keep talking about these things so that they don't disappear, so that we don't get numb, and so that we don't go back to business as usual. So I'm going to move on and talk about my favorite topic, and that's elections, right? I'm involved in this because I care about elections. I want everyone to have access to the ballot box, be educated when they get there, and know that their vote is going to count. That's why I do what I do every day. And I also believe that all of our rights come through the ballot box. We can talk about it, we can have protests, blah, 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 but everything comes based on who we elect or who we allow to get elected by our inaction. So, our senior senator from Oklahoma, is protesting. He is upset that the federal government is trying to spend money to educate people to vote, to educate people what the eligibility requirements are, to educate people to make sure that there's nobody who's voting fraudulently. These dollars are already committed. They're already spent. They're already dedicated. There are already programs. James Langford thinks that that's a bad use of federal tax dollars and that states should handle it. Here's the problem with that. James Langford comes from a voting state. In the last presidential election, only 50.3% of registered voters bothered to cast a ballot. James Langford comes from a non-voting state. So you would think that he would want to spend not Oklahoma dollars, but federal dollars educating people to teach us how to vote, because obviously we have a challenge with it in our state. But he's okay because he knows that the less amount of people who show up is a better chance that Republicans win. That's what happens in Oklahoma. When Democrats show up, we win. And so you're right, Frida. He's afraid that people will vote. And he doesn't want anybody spending any money making sure that people will vote. Just like down there in Texas, where they're trying to limit people can drop their absentee ballots, and in the most densely populated county, they want to make it where there's only one ballot box. They want to make it hard for people to vote. The people who are trying to make it hard for people to vote are the people who know that their policies aren't the kind of policies that will drive a person to vote. They know that bad policies depend on people not showing up to vote. Ask our governor. Bad policies survive and thrive when people don't vote. It would be so much easier for Oklahomans to have legislators and bills that actually improve the lives of Oklahomans if we would just show up at the ballot box. So if you're watching me, you're somebody who votes, right? Because that's all I talk about. But I'm going to encourage you to reach out to your family members, your neighbors, co-workers, and make sure that they know when the next election is, that they are already registered and they know where to go and research their candidates. It is up to us who vote to educate those who don't vote. It's not that hard. It's up to us who vote to educate those who don't vote, because apparently if Langford gets his way, we're not going to get any more education on how to vote from the government or any entities like that. It's all going to be dependent on us. Now, speaking of expanding, or should I say contracting voter participation, I need to remind you that the Oklahoma State Election Board sent out address verification postcards. These are postcards that says, hey, Alicia, we show you live at this address. Is that correct? It's legit. The State Election Board is sending those postcards out with the goal of verifying that folks live at the address that they're registered to vote. The end result of this is the people who don't reply are likely to get purged from the voter rolls. Us not showing up to vote that gets you purged, but it's also, if they can't verify that you live at the address that you list, that can also get you purged. So if you get a postcard from the Oklahoma State Election Board, go ahead and send that back to the election board. And if you don't trust that, hand deliver it to your county election board so it gets turned in. You want to stay on the voter rolls. And if you think that you might have saw it and thought it wasn't legit, and so you tossed it, go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board voter portal and verify that you're still registered, and continue to do that for the rest of the year to make sure that you don't get purged. Every odd year, well, every year we do purge, but every odd year, there is a massive purge. And sadly, it's Democrats who get purged off the rolls more often. So send it back. Send it back. Don't get purged. So I wanted to talk about elections on a national level, state level, and then within the party. So I talked to you guys about Langford. I've talked to you about the voter purge here in our state. Now I want to talk about convention. Just go ahead and get your mind around it. You're going to hear me talk about convention for the next 2.5 weeks because it is coming. It is coming. It is coming. Convention is June 3rd and 4th in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Tulsa Convention Center. On June 3rd, there are breakout sessions with a star-studded cast of speakers. We have folks coming to talk about organizing in rural communities, organizing in precinct levels, organizing in communities of color. We have folks talking about what it takes to move a red state to light pink, maybe light blue. We have folks coming from all over the country: Ohio, Kentucky, Nebraska, Minnesota, Texas. We have folks coming from all over the country to come, Florida, come talk to us about organizing, bringing with them their wisdom from where they live and their success stories, so that we can take those successes and improve what is happening in Oklahoma. That's on June 3rd from 10 to 4. Young Democrats are having their elections where they're electing their leaderships. The African American Federation, the Native American Federation, the Disability Federation, all of these groups are meeting because they're trying to build up their membership. They're trying to educate folks on the issues that support their communities. That's on June 3rd during the day. During the evening, we're having our Carl Albert Gala. That's where we award outstanding Oklahomans who've done great things. And our keynote speaker there is Beto O'Rourke, former congressman for Texas. Y'all know who he is. That's our keynote speaker for Saturday night. Monday on June 4th, that's the day that we do our business. That's the day that we update our constitution and bylaws, update our state platform, that we elect our leaders that will lead our party for the next 2 years. I urge you to participate. I encourage and urge you to come and convene with other Democrats in Oklahoma. If you live far from Tulsa, if you live in a way that's not as close, I live 15 minutes away the convention center, but if you live further than 15 minutes from the convention center and you're concerned, please know that we have set up on Facebook. It's called ODP Convention Travel. We've set up a room share, ride share Facebook group where people can post, hey, I'm coming from this city. Anybody else going? Do you want a carpool? I'm renting a room that has 2 beds and a pull out. Anybody want to come and share that expense with me? So there's a way that you can come and afford it. And we're trying to make sure that we're making this convention as accessible as possible. It's called ODP Convention Travel on Facebook. Click over, join that group. There are Tulsans in the group already who are saying, I have a spare room, first come, first serve. There are folks saying, people already saying, I'm coming from here. And maybe you can hitch a ride. Somebody said they were coming from somewhere and they had 2 more seats in their car. So there are ways that you can get there in an affordable manner. I hope to see you there. That is on June 3rd and 4th in Tulsa, downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the convention center. We have room blocks at several hotels that are on the same block as the convention center. It's going to be fun. I hope as many of you who can come and join us in the festivities. It'll be great. But until then, I will see you tomorrow at 4:15 with another update. But in the meantime, join Scott Hamilton tonight at 6:30 on the Hamilton Report, where his topic is Don't Fall for the Okie Doke. And he's going to be talking about Republican talking points versus the outcome. Don't fall for it, folks. All righty, that's Scott Hamilton on the Hamilton Report this at 6:30, and I will be back here tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a great evening.